Have you ever thought you were making a healthy choice by picking grilled fish, only to find out later that same fish might actually be harming your body? We've all heard the message. Fish is a great option. It's low in fat, rich in omega-3s, and easy on the stomach. But here's something most people never talk about. Not all fish are created equal. And for those of us over 60, some types of fish can quietly become a serious health risk. I'm talking about changes you might not notice right away. Memory slipping a little more than usual, sudden spikes in blood pressure, chronic fatigue, joint pain that just won't go away, or that persistent brain fog you can't quite explain. Most folks assume it's just aging, but sometimes the real problem is sitting right there on your dinner plate. Some fish contain high levels of mercury and other toxins that build up in the body over time. And for older adults, with slower metabolism and weaker immunity, those effects can be even more harmful. What's concerning is that most people have no idea. They keep eating the same fish over and over, thinking they're doing the right thing for their health. And honestly, you might even have one of these types of fish in your fridge right now and not even know it. If you care about protecting your memory, your heart, and your quality of life in the years ahead, this is a video you don't want to miss. Today, we're taking a close look at 6 types of fish that older adults should avoid completely. A few of these may sound very familiar. Some might have been on your plate just last week. So stick with us until the end of the video. Because by the time we're done, you'll know exactly which fish are quietly doing damage, why they're more dangerous than you think, and what safe, delicious alternatives you can enjoy instead. If you're here because you want to live healthier for yourself or someone you love, leave a comment that says, "I'm still learning." And don't forget to follow The Elderly Way, where we share real, practical truths to help you live more fully every single day. Now let's get started. Let's start with a fish that might surprise you: king mackerel. This fish is often praised for its rich flavor and high omega-3 content. But here's the problem. King mackerel ranks among the highest in mercury levels of any commonly eaten fish in the U.S., according to the FDA and the EPA. Mercury is a heavy metal that can be toxic to the central nervous system. For older adults, the body's ability to detox slows down with age. Over time, eating fish high in mercury can lead to buildup in the bloodstream, allowing it to cross the blood-brain barrier and impact brain cells directly. Several studies have linked long-term mercury exposure to declines in memory, focus, and cognitive function, and even an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The effects may not show up right away, but they can develop silently over time, especially in people over 60. Another common misunderstanding is the idea that all fish are good for your brain. While it's true that omega-3s support brain health, this only applies to low-mercury fish. When a fish, like king mackerel, contains too much mercury, it can actually do more harm than good, damaging the very system it's supposed to protect. But the solution isn't to stop eating fish altogether. It's about choosing the right kind. Instead of king mackerel, go for Atlantic mackerel. It's very low in mercury, still packed with omega-3s, and much better suited for older adults. Choosing the right kind of fish isn't just about taste. It's a key part of protecting your brain, preserving your memory, and supporting long-term mental health. Mercury isn't just a problem with king mackerel. Another fish, one with soft, white flesh that often shows up in seafood tacos or fried fish platters, also carries serious health risks, especially for older adults. It's called tilefish. Tilefish might look clean and mild on the outside, but it's actually one of the most mercury-contaminated fish out there, right up there with swordfish and shark. According to the FDA, tilefish caught in the Gulf of Mexico can contain mercury levels many times higher than what's considered safe for adults. And for those whose kidneys and nervous systems are already slowing down with age, that makes it especially dangerous. Mercury's effects go far beyond memory or concentration. In many cases, It can also damage the peripheral nervous system, leading to symptoms like tingling or numbness in the hands and feet, muscle weakness, poor balance, and difficulty with fine motor skills. These signs are often mistaken for common aging issues like arthritis or mild nerve degeneration, making them harder to recognize as mercury-related. What makes things worse is that tilefish often isn't labeled clearly on restaurant menus or supermarket packaging. Instead, it's lumped under the vague category of white fish, a label that can be misleading and makes it harder for consumers to make informed choices. If you're over 60, being proactive is essential. Read food labels carefully and don't hesitate to ask about the type of fish in your dish, especially when dining out. If you're unsure where the fish came from, it's better to be cautious. In particular, avoid tilefish from the Gulf of Mexico, a region known for high mercury levels in its marine ecosystem. Changing how you choose fish doesn't have to be complicated. What matters most is knowing what you're eating and making safer choices for your long-term health. A few tacos might seem harmless, but as we age, even small amounts of mercury can have a big impact. If the information about tilefish caught you off guard, the next fish might be even more concerning, because it's often seen as a premium dish and praised for its nutritional value. We're talking about swordfish. Swordfish is thick, protein-rich, and commonly served at upscale dinners, fine dining restaurants, or backyard grills. It's often marketed as a great source of omega-3s and heart-friendly nutrients. But for older adults, swordfish can actually have the opposite effect. According to the FDA and EPA, swordfish ranks among the highest in mercury content, with average levels well above the safety threshold recommended for adults, especially for those over 60. When consumed regularly, mercury from swordfish doesn't leave the body quickly. It builds up silently, impacting the brain and central nervous system over time. Symptoms may creep in quietly. Persistent fatigue, trouble concentrating, memory issues, vision changes, or a vague, foggy feeling in your thinking. These signs are often mistaken for normal aging, but in many cases, they're tied directly to dietary choices, specifically high mercury fish like swordfish. There's also another issue that's often overlooked. The texture of swordfish isn't ideal for aging digestive systems. Its dense meat, high in saturated fat and harder to break down, can cause bloating, indigestion, or worsen acid reflux, especially in older adults whose digestive enzymes are naturally declining. So while swordfish might look healthy and upscale on the plate, it actually carries serious health risks that older adults should think twice about. If your goal is to boost omega-3s for heart and brain health, there are safer, easier to digest alternatives that carry far less risk. Two excellent options are sardines and wild-caught salmon. Both are rich in healthy fats, low in mercury, and, importantly, more bioavailable for the aging body. Smaller fish like sardines also offer a biological advantage. Because they're low on the food chain, they don't have time to accumulate mercury like larger species do. Plus, they're usually more affordable and easier to prepare as part of everyday meals. Bottom line, if you've been thinking about adding swordfish to your diet because it sounds like a healthy choice, it might be time to reconsider. For a body that's been working hard for decades, eating wisely isn't just about nutrition. It's about protecting the vital systems that keep you going and doing it with care and intention. Now let's turn to a fish that seems harmless, affordable, easy to cook, and found in just about every grocery store: farmed salmon. Unlike swordfish or tilefish, which are easier to recognize as high-risk fish, salmon is often seen as a healthy staple, loaded with omega-3s and good for the heart. But here's what many people don't realize: not all salmon is created equal, and for older adults, that difference can have a real impact on your health. Farmed salmon is raised in tightly packed pens under highly controlled conditions. To speed up growth, they're fed a processed diet, including corn, genetically modified soy, and rendered animal byproducts. This unnatural feed boosts levels of omega-6 fatty acids in the fish, the type of fat linked to chronic inflammation, joint pain, and cardiovascular problems, especially in aging bodies. On top of that, farmed salmon are often treated with antibiotics to control disease outbreaks in these crowded environments. Studies have shown that traces of these antibiotics can remain in the fish's tissue and enter the human body over time, potentially disrupting gut health and weakening the immune system, especially with repeated exposure. What's especially concerning is that most consumers don't know the difference between wild and farmed salmon when shopping. Packaging typically features the word salmon in big letters, but the key details, like wild-caught or Alaskan salmon, are often printed small, tucked away, or left out entirely. If you don't read carefully, you may be eating farmed salmon without even realizing it. This matters even more if you're working to manage arthritis, preserve memory, or protect your heart in your later years. Because while farmed salmon may be convenient and inexpensive, it could actually make the very issues you're trying to avoid even worse. So, what's the better option? Wild-caught Alaskan salmon is one of the safest and most nutritious choices. These fish live in clean waters, are free from antibiotics and chemicals, and are naturally rich in the kind of omega-3s that have been proven to reduce inflammation, support brain function, and protect heart health. Yes, it may cost a bit more, but at this stage in life, you're not just buying food, you're investing in your long-term health, your independence, and your quality of life. What you eat today will shape your clarity of mind, your mobility, and how good you feel in the years ahead. If you thought farmed salmon was something to worry about, the next fish might be even worse, not just because of mercury, but because of other toxins that can quietly strain your liver and kidneys. We're talking about shark. Shark occasionally appears on restaurant menus as a specialty dish, thick, firm, protein-rich meat, often marketed as lean. It also shows up in deep-fried fast food, served with tartar sauce and fries, a familiar combo in many coastal areas. But here's what most people don't realize. For older adults, shark is one of the highest-risk fish you can eat. The reason lies in the biology of the animal. Shark is a top predator in the food chain. It lives a long time, consumes a wide variety of smaller fish, and accumulates large amounts of mercury, urea, and environmental toxins in its body over the years. When we eat shark meat, those toxins are passed on to us. Younger people might be able to process some of those compounds, but once you're over 60, your liver and kidneys usually aren't as efficient. Adding more mercury and harmful compounds into the system can overwhelm these organs, increasing the risk of inflammation, elevated blood urea levels, nerve dysfunction, and even problems with memory, energy, and recovery from illness. Here's the scary part. You don't need to eat shark often for it to be a problem. For older adults, even one high-mercury meal can have lasting effects, especially if you already have risk factors like chronic kidney disease, high blood pressure, or arthritis. A common mistake is thinking, just trying it once won't hurt. But the truth is, older bodies absorb toxins faster and recover more slowly. The good news: you don't have to give up hearty, flavorful, protein-rich fish. Trout is a fantastic alternative. It's widely available, easy to prepare, rich in healthy omega-3s, low in mercury, and most importantly, much gentler on the liver, kidneys, and nervous system. So if you're looking for a fish that's tasty, nourishing, and easier on your body, take shark off your list. Choosing the right fish isn't just about what tastes good. It's a smart step toward protecting your long-term health. To close out this list, we need to talk about a fish that's far from exotic. It's easy to find, inexpensive, and a staple in many kitchens across America, especially in middle-aged and senior households. We're talking about canned albacore tuna. For many, albacore tuna seems like a smart choice. It's convenient, high in protein, low in fat, and often seen as a healthy food. It's a go-to for sandwiches, salads, and quick lunches at home. But here's what most people overlook. Not all canned tuna is the same. In fact, albacore tuna contains significantly more mercury than light tuna. According to joint reports from the FDA and EPA, canned albacore can have up to 3 times the mercury levels of canned light tuna. Because of this, adults, especially those over 60, should limit consumption to no more than once a week. That's because the nervous system, liver, and kidneys tend to slow down with age, making it harder for the body to handle heavy metals like mercury. Mercury is a neurotoxin. It can damage the brain, reduce memory, trigger chronic fatigue, affect mood, and over time increase the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. What's concerning is that many people don't realize the connection between vague symptoms and their daily meals, especially when albacore tuna is marketed as a health food. There's another issue too. Some canned tuna products can be high in sodium. For those managing blood pressure or heart disease, frequent consumption can put extra strain on blood vessels, cause fluid retention, or temporarily raise blood pressure. So if canned tuna is part of your weekly routine, take a closer look at the label. Look for chunk light tuna instead of albacore. Light tuna is usually made from skipjack, which is much lower in mercury. Or better yet, switch to safer seafood protein sources like sardines, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, or trout. These smaller fish have shorter lifespans, which means they accumulate far less mercury, and they're still packed with natural omega-3s. Making the right choice doesn't mean giving up convenience. It just means being a little more mindful about what you're putting into your body, especially at an age when memory, heart health, and mental clarity really matter. Growing older is a stage in life where every choice, no matter how small, can make a big difference. What you put on your plate today isn't just food. It's how you support your memory, your heart, your nervous system, and your ability to live independently in the years ahead. Good health doesn't come from luck. It comes from smart decisions, repeated day after day. And sometimes, it starts with something as simple as choosing a better kind of fish for your body. If you've made it this far in the video, it shows that you truly care, either about yourself or about someone you love. That matters. And if today's content helped you better understand the connection between food and health after 60, leave us a comment that says, "I'm learning to choose wisely." It's your way of letting us know you're walking this path with us, and that what we're sharing is making a difference. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos from the Elderly Way, where we offer practical, science-backed guidance to help you live your later years with strength, clarity, and dignity. Thank you for being here today. We'll see you in the next video.